MySafetyTrainingOnline.com presents Accident Investigation. What you will learn. We'll talk about recognizing the need for an investigation, investigating the scene of an accident, interviewing the victims and the witnesses, distinguishing fact from fiction, determining root causes, compiling data and preparing reports, as well as making recommendations when needed. Introduction to Accident Investigation. Chapter 1. What is an accident? An accident is an unplanned, unexpected event that interferes with or interrupts normal activity, potentially leads to personal injury or dollar loss, such as equipment damage. What is a near miss? A near miss is an unplanned event that did not result in an injury, illness, or damage, but had the potential to do so. Only a fortunate break in the chain of events prevented an injury, fatality, or damage. In other words, a miss that was nonetheless very near. Section 2. Types of accidents and near misses. Minor accidents, those with minor physical or financial loss, such as paper cuts to the fingers or dropping a box of materials, or bumping into someone at low speed. Types of near misses. In terms of human lives and property damages, near misses are cheaper, zero-cost learning tools for safety than actual injury or property loss. Near-miss reporters can describe what they observed at the beginning of the event and the factors that prevented the loss from occurring. More serious accidents that cause injury or damage to equipment or property, such as a forklift dropping a load or someone falling off a ladder, or a barbed wire topped fence falling on a worker. Accidents that occur over an extended time frame, such as hearing loss or illness resulting from exposure to chemicals, or intoxication of workers from leaking fumes. Also known as a near hit, an accident that does not require the result of injury or damage, but could have. Remember, a near miss is just as serious as an accident. Every accident has a set of contributory factors. Weighing each of those set of contributory factors is a job of management. Management must then decide what factor or factors contribute to the result. Injury and possible death, disease complications, damage to equipment and property, litigation costs, possible citations, lost productivity, morale suffering. These are all possible negative results of an accident. Positive outcomes of an accident or near miss would be an accident investigation which prevents reoccurrence, a change to safety programs, change to procedures, or change in equipment design. Section 3. Accident Investigation Details. The key result should be to prevent a reoccurrence of the same accident. The fact-finding. What happened? Who, what, where, why, when, how? What was the root cause? What should be done to prevent reoccurrence? The aim of the investigation is not to exonerate individuals or management, satisfy insurance requirements, defend a position for legal arguments, or to assign blame. All accidents have two things in common. They all have outcomes from the accident, and they all have contributory factors that caused the accident. Contributory factors include environmental, noise, vapors, fumes, dust, light, or heat from various sources or critters. Causes can also be the design of the workplace layout, the design of tools and equipment, maintenance activities that take place inside or outside the plant facilities or job site, Systems and procedures which require frequent or infrequent or intermittent human interface, the lack of systems and procedures, inappropriate systems and procedures, training and procedures, or housekeeping. Investigation strategies include isolating the essential contributory factors, using group discourse, such as an investigation team, and evaluating all the factors concerned while subsequently documenting them. Determining causes means looking at employee or contractor actions, looking at safe behavior versus at-risk behavior, environmental conditions such as light, heat, cold, moisture, humidity, dust, vapors, etc. Equipment condition, defective and operational guards, leaks, broken parts, procedures existing or not, fouled or not, appropriate or not, training. Was the employee trained? When? By whom? What documentation do they have? When you have determined the contributing factors, dig deeper. If employee error, what caused that behavior? If defective machine, why wasn't it fixed? If poor lighting was the cause, why wasn't it corrected? If no training, why not? Section 4, the investigation. A step-by-step process. Gather the information, search for and establish facts, isolate essential contributing factors, find root causes, determine corrective actions, implement corrective actions. Secure the scene first. Eliminate the hazards, control chemicals, de-energize equipment if necessary, depressurize situations, light it up, shore it up, ventilate if necessary. Provide care to the injured first. Ensure that medical care is provided to the injured persons before proceeding with the investigation. By isolating the accident or near-miss scene, we talk about barricading the area of the accident or near-miss, keeping everybody out. The only persons allowed inside the barricade should be rescue EMS, law enforcement, or investigators. Protect all the evidence until the investigation is considered complete, no matter how long that takes. Ask what happened. Record the event with pictures, forms, videos. Get a brief overview of the situation from witnesses and victims. This is not a detailed report yet, but just enough to understand the basic facts of what happened. Interviewing victims and witnesses, recording in video or pre-made forms or in pictures. Interviewing as soon as possible after the incident. Don't interrupt medical care to interview. Interviewing each person separately, and do not allow the witnesses to confer prior to the interview. The interview is recorded on a pre-made form or in pictures. Put the person at ease. People may be reluctant at first to discuss the incident, particularly if they think someone will get in trouble. Reassure them that this is a fact-finding process only. Remind them that facts will be used to prevent reoccurrence of the incident, not to set blame. The interview. Take notes as the person is talking. Ask open-ended questions such as, what did you see? What happened? Do not make suggestions. If the person is stumbling over a word or concept, do not help them out. When doing the interview, use close-ended questions later to gain more detail. After the person has provided details of their explanation, these types of questions can be used to clarify. Where were you standing? What time did it happen? Don't ask leading questions. An example, this would be, why was the forklift operator driving recklessly? Good was, how was the forklift operator driving? If the witness begins to offer reasons, excuses, or explanations, politely decline that knowledge and remind them to stick to the facts. Summarize what you have been told. Correct misunderstandings of the event between you and the witness. Ask the witness/victim for recommendations to prevent the reoccurrence. These people will often have the best solutions to the problem. Get a written signed statement from the witness. It is best if the witness writes their own statement. Interviews, notes signed by the witness may be used, but if the witness refuses to write a statement. Interview exercise for the group or for an individual. Read a scenario handout. Team up in pairs. One person plays the investigator and one person will play the witness. Next step after the interview is to gather evidence. Examine the accident scene. Look for things that will help you understand what happened. Dents, cracks, scrapes, splints in equipment, tire tracks, footprints, spills, leaks, scattered or broken parts, etc. Gathering evidence. Diagram the scene out. Use a blank paper or graph paper. Mark the location of the pertinent items, the equipment, the parts, spills, persons, etc. Note distances and sizes, pressures, temperatures, direction, etc. When gathering evidence, take photographs. Photograph only these items and scenes which may provide an understanding of what happened to anyone who was not there. Photograph any items which do not remain or which will be cleaned up. When gathering evidence, use 35mm cameras, Polaroids, and video cameras. Digital cameras can be used but are not basically recommended since digital images can be easily altered. Review records that are available, making copies of relevant materials. Check those training records. Was appropriate training provided? When was the training provided? Check equipment maintenance records. Is the regular PM or service provided? Is there a recurring type? Check accident records. Have there been similar accidents or injuries involving other employees? Isolate fact from fiction. Use norms-based analysis of information. Norms is short for not an interpretation, observable, reliable, measurable, specific. If an item meets all 5 of those above, it is a fact. Here we can talk about norms of objectivity. On the left side of the column you see the objective, not an interpretation, and on the right side you see subjective information such as interpretations. You have observable versus non-observable, reliable versus unreliable, measurable versus non-measurable, specific versus general. Investigation traps. Put your emotions aside. Don't let your feelings interfere. Stick to the facts. Don't prejudge a situation. Find out what really happened. Don't let your beliefs cloud the situation. Never assume anything and don't make any judgments. Weighing the contributory factors of an accident or near miss. As we have stated before, contributory factors can be environmental factors, the design of the workplace, systems and procedures, and human behavior. Human behavior, of course, is common to all accidents and not limited to the person involved in the accident. Environmental factors, as we've already stated, would be noise, vapors, fumes, dust, light, heat, and critters or insects. Design of the job site or workplace should be factored in. The workplace layout, the design of the tools and the equipment. Maintenance schedule should be looked at. Isolate essential contributory factors. An investigative team will Analyze, isolating the key factors, and ask the following questions. Would the accident have happened if a particular factor was not present? Determining the causes of an accident or near miss means looking at employee actions, safe and at-risk behavior, environmental conditions, equipment condition, defective or operational guard leaks, broken parts, procedures, existing or not, followed or not, appropriate, was the employee trained, when were they last trained, by whom, and what the documentation was. Final chapter, preparing a report and recommendations. Accident reports should contain the following: a description of the incident and injuries, the sequence of events, pertinent facts discovered by the investigation, conclusions of the investigators, recommendations for correcting the problem. One of the hardest things to do on a final report is to be objective. Simply state facts. Assign causes, not blame. If referring to individual actions, don't use names in the recommendation. All employees should, bad, George should. The final report should have corrective actions found by the investigation team. It interprets or draws conclusions, doing a distinction between intermediate and underlying causes, and of course makes recommendations, weighing each one of those recommendations in importance. Recommendations based on the key contributory factors and underlying or root causes of the situation. Implement corrective actions. An investigation team should have the power to implement them. The recommendations or recommendations must be communicated clearly and objectively. Strict timetables should be established and follow-up conducted on all recommendations until completed. You can find company accident forms at OSHA.gov if none are available within your company or with your insurance company. They must be filled out completely by the employee and by the employee's immediate supervisor. This includes the foreman. They should be turned to the person responsible for safety within 24 hours of an incident. The benefits of a thorough accident investigation and report will be preventing a reoccurrence of the situation, identifying outmoded procedures or situations, and making improvements to the work environment. You can also count on increased productivity or improvement of operational and safety procedures, as well as a raised safety awareness and morale levels. When an organization reacts swiftly and positively to accidents and injuries, its actions reaffirm its commitment to safety and the well-being of its employees.